All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Olivette City Council, May 28th, 2024 to 7:10 p.m. And we will open the regular Olivette City Council meeting. Please poll the council. Please do roll call for the council.
Mayor Waldman,
I'm here.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Here.
Councilmember Clark,
Here.
Councilmember Carl,
Here.
Councilmember Weil.
Here. Here.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda are communications. And we have some pretty sharp looking fire department ladies and gentlemen here tonight. Chief Carmen, good evening.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, Ms. Jackley. My name is Steve Carmen, Fire Chief, City of Olivette Fire Department. According to the American Heart Association, approximately 436,000 cardiac arrests occur each year. Early intervention is critical to a positive outcome for the patient. Immediate administration of CPR can double or even triple a person's chance of surviving a cardiac arrest. EMS actions are not just numbers, they are lives saved. In 2023, the fire department had 4 clinical saves. We would like to recognize the paramedics' efforts with the skill, precision, and dedication it takes to bring out a positive outcome. Most importantly, I'd like to thank all the paramedics for the kind, passionate, dedicated, and driven to provide the residents in the city of Olivette and the visitors to our community with the highest quality emergency medical service in the area. I am honored to present the Paramedic Clinical Save Awards to these outstanding individuals. Your dedication to saving lives is truly inspiring as paramedics. You are often the first responders to medical emergencies. You work under tremendous pressure and must make split-second decisions that can mean the difference between life and death. You are highly skilled and trained professionals, and you are committed to providing the best possible care to your patients. You are always calm, collected, and even in the most chaotic situations. You are compassionate and caring and always prioritize your patients' needs. You are a credit to your profession, and I am proud of you. I am proud to present the awards. Thank you for being so dedicated to the Olivette community. I'd like to call the paramedics forward one at a time. If we can save our applause till the very end, I'd appreciate it. Chief Medical Officer Jim Witz. Lieutenant Adam Hansel. Lieutenant Richard Garrett. Firefighter paramedic Ben Orris. Firefighter paramedic Nikki Meyer. And if I could point out, Nikki was on 3 of these clinical saves, not just one. Rachel Williams, firefighter paramedic Rachel Williams. Sorry. Firefighter paramedic William McClure. And firefighter paramedic Hannah Schultz. Thank you for your outstanding efforts. Thank you.
Okay, there we go.
Can I hold you back? Can you come back and take a picture without us in it? Make it nice and clean with the back wall. I can't help it. I'm a photographer by nature. I heard myself here.
You heard.
Oh, no, it's him. He's had Missy sit down.
It seems that now-
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, council.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do. All right, next on the agenda is the city manager's report. Miss Shackley, good evening.
Good evening again. Share my screen here. All right. Pardon the date. The content is correct, the date's wrong. So first things first, Olivette Night Out is June 18th. So we are encouraging any neighborhood that wants to get together for Olivette Night Out. Please register so that we can send representatives from the city, either police and fire and the council members and staff will be dispatched throughout the city to visit all of the neighborhood parties and say hello. So you can register on the city's website, scan the QR code, and then we've had a number of neighborhoods already register. So it's been well received. Next up is Coffee with the Mayor. So Coffee with the Mayor traditionally has been held here at the city center, but with our new Five Oaks Community Center, Coffee with the Mayor will be moving to Five Oaks on Warson. It's going to stay at the second Wednesday of each month at 8:45 in the morning, but it'll be in our new beautiful community center. So the next Coffee with the Mayor is June 12th, again at 8:45 in the morning, and Mayor Waldman will be hosting our two recipients for our Business and Restaurant of the Year award winners. So Melinda with the Olivette Diner and Emily and Casey with the St. Louis Academy of Dance. And then news around town. We have a number of vacancies on our boards and commissions. So they are listed there on the screen. And so we are encouraging those in the community who want to volunteer some time on these very important boards and commissions to go ahead and sign up. You can do so on the website or you can scan the QR code. We are taking applications until June 12th. And then lastly, we encourage all of our residents to sign up for Olivette Weekly. This is a weekly electronic newsletter that has all kinds of information about things going on in the city. And that's all I have for right now.
Anybody have any questions of the city manager? Go ahead.
I was asked by someone who had trouble. I was asked by a resident who had trouble finding the applications online.
Mhm.
How do you find them? They're not on the homepage.
If you go to the homepage, see if I can do it right now. So the easiest thing is probably going to be to go to the
Oh, okay.
open commission seats. And then
It might have been the device we were on. Thank you.
it very well could have been. Yep. That would be probably the easiest place to find it. And if not, they are welcome to call us. Here we go. Deadline to apply.
Thank you.
No problem.
Now it's showing your screen sharing is paused.
Well, that's because I was sharing my PowerPoint. So there we go. Any other questions? Okay.
Next, we have staff reports, and I want to say these reports are just getting better and better and more informational every day.
Yeah, the departments are doing a lot of work. It's hard to choose what to put in as a highlight. So I would encourage you all to definitely browse through the staff reports because my summary is just that very, very, very short summary. So we are going to start with the fire department as always. So there is a program called Fire Up St. Louis, which is a program for women aged 18 to 40 who are interested in pursuing a fire career. And we had 3 of our firefighters who were able to participate in that. So firefighter Hannah Schultz, firefighter Rachel Williams, and then Captain Jimmy D'Angelo, they all were able to participate in that. And you can see the crowd right there of interested future firefighters. And then if you happen to see some folks hanging off the parking structure at the Clover, that might be the firefighters. They are practicing their rope rescue skills off the garage, off the Clover. So in case they ever had to be lowered down by rope to rescue someone, they have been practicing that skill. Next up is the planning department, and they attended the May Chamber of Commerce luncheon to give the awards. This is our first annual restaurant and business award that we were given to Olivette Diner, and these are the folks of Olivette Diner, and then the St. Louis Academy of Dance. And these individuals were chosen actually by the public, and then the Economic Development Commission made the final choice, but they were all nominated by people in Olivette. And then moving on to the police department, the month of May, and particularly the middle week of May, was Police Week, and there is a dispatcher from East Central Dispatch. Her name is Patty Brashear, and she plays the bagpipes. And she travels to various police departments, and particularly those 7 cities within the East Central Dispatch. And she plays the bagpipes for them during Police Week. And she's very good if you haven't heard her. So she stopped by Olivette, and there were some of our Olivette finest standing out there listening to her. And then the police department is putting together a new program for new drivers to kind of teach them what will happen if they should ever be pulled over by a police officer. And so they're going to do some practical tips on what to do, but then also they're going to practice it out in the parking lot. So if you have a new driver in your family, we would certainly encourage them to participate in this program, so that one, hopefully they will never be pulled over. But if for some reason they are, they will have a little bit of better understanding of what will happen on a traffic stop. And then Public Works. So with all the rain, they really have not been able, the contractor, Reneri, really has not been able to do a lot of work up at Indian Meadows. They went gangbusters at the beginning of the year, but it's just too muddy for them to do a bunch of work. So we're waiting for the ground to dry. However, the paving company was able, between the rain, to get some streets paved. And so they did a number of courts in Arrowhead Park. That's the subdivision, Arrowhead Park subdivision. They were able to do Bond Price Lane and then Castle Rock Court. So you can see them hard at work there. And then lastly, MSD, the voters approved MSD's Prop S for stormwater funding. And one of the things MSD is asking the various cities about is whether or not they should turn off the sub-districts, the OMCI sub-districts. And this was the previous mechanism that cities received money to do stormwater projects under. And the idea was that this Proposition S would replace those OMCIs. And the city of Olivette is actually in 2 different sub-districts, one of which is the Deer Creek sub-district, and the other one is the University City sub-district. So we've received communications from MSD asking for the city's input regarding the continuation of a reduced OMCI tax rate. So as you can see, prior to Prop S, the city received about $93,000 for OMCI uses, $93,000 a year. Under the Proposition S, the city would be receiving instead $75,000. And if we were to ask MSD to keep it on for the entire sub-district, the city would be eligible to receive an additional almost $47,000. So now you can see that there are a variety of other cities. These are all the cities that are in that sub-district. all those cities have been asked if they want to keep the taxing rate on. As you can see, there are a number of sub-district cities who receive significantly more under the Proposition S grant. So for example, St. Louis County, they're scheduled to get 1.5 million instead of 36,000. University City would get 300,000 instead of 209,000. So you have a variety of impacts from this Proposition S. So staff is of the notion that we would like to say to MSD that the city of Olivet would like to keep this sub-district. Now, we can say that, and every other city up there could say no. MSD at this point is just sort of counting interest from all the cities. They're going to take that interest and then they're going to make a decision. So it's ultimately MSD's decision as to whether or not that sub-district stays what they call turned on or not. They're simply asking the city's input. So because we would benefit greatly and able to use this money to address a variety of stormwater issues within the University City sub-district area, we'll be sending information to MSD that says, yes, at least we're interested. But again, remember, all these cities are going to get an opportunity to say yes or no, and then MSD is going to move from there. Okay.
Does anyone have any questions on this particular issue?
Mhm.
I do, if no one else does.
Mhm.
So if we go with what you're suggesting would be the best thing for us, are we getting the 75,000 plus the 46,000?
If MSD chooses to keep the sub-district OMCI on, then yes. If
Okay.
MSD says, you know what, there was only one city interested in keeping it on, every other city said no, we're not going to keep it on, then Olivet would get 75,000.
Okay, thank you,
Yep.
thank you.
Any other questions? All right, the last is all of your upcoming meetings. Next on the meeting list is the Economic Development Commission on Thursday. And then any other questions relative to the staff reports? Oh, I'm sorry. My days are off.
And the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting has been pushed back a week to June 26th because of June 19th, we will be closed for the federal holiday.
Well, there you go. Editing on the fly. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions of the city manager? Seeing none, we'll move on to the item 5, monthly financial reports. Mr. Mann?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As we approach our budget adoption in the next several meetings, as we look back through our year, we'll be kind of reminded of a couple of themes that will show up here. If we look at our fiscal year up to the end of April, we will see that our revenues are below our expectations by around $184,000. Expenditures, they're also below expectations by about $770,000. So that's a net unfavorable variance of $113,000. Maybe if you look at some of the causes there. First, before we go there, that reserve policy analysis, you can see with the audited fund balance at 9.8 or $9.9 million, we're well in compliance with that. So good news as a cushion if we look at some of the things that cause this negative variance. And first is in that sales tax category. Let's go down to the next page real quick, which has the chart, and there's kind of that tells the story of what we're seeing and what causes this. That orange line is this year. We have a fast forward or a little sneak peek into May, and you can see that it also is maybe pushing the boundaries of where we gauge our chart at $100,000. So we get the question frequently about sales taxes versus use taxes, and use taxes are doing well. They're about $119,000 ahead, but this is versus $739,000 in our sales taxes compared to where we thought we would be. Now that's something that we can adjust for next year, again, during our budgeting time. And other factors that go into this represents about a quarter of our revenue. Another quarter is in property taxes. Those protests were released to us in May or in April. And we can see those figures here. Actually, I take it back. They're not reflected here, but in May we did receive them, and then it validates our budgeting. So 25% of our revenues are exactly where we thought they would be. And then utility tax collections they're mixed, but they're right on where we thought they would be. Some of the rate increases that hit all of our pocketbooks actually help out the city a little bit. And so that's the three major, like we'll say, quarters. We have a new major revenue source in the Parks and Recreation revenue, and it's slower because of the slower opening of the center itself. It also has associated expenditures that are slower than we thought because of the opening dates. Outside of that, sorry. We have the remaining categories, what we call it, and that encompasses all of our other revenue sources. They're pretty much right where we thought they'd be. A little bit of strength as we close out the year, which is good. And then some good news there, the license revenues are well ahead of where we thought they would be at this time this year. The due dates are in June now, or in May. So, right. The due dates are after this date. And so we weren't expecting to receive any of the revenue, but some people, some businesses enclose their money when they put in the application. So we're recording them a little bit early. So that's something we'll take care of, keep monitoring and take a look at. Again, on the expenditure side, outside of the recreation department, everything is going, it's a little bit low because of staff vacancies in some of our departments, and but otherwise explainable. So more than happy to open up to any questions or anything we'd like to talk about next week during our work session on our budget.
If anybody has any topics or subjects that they would like to have us discuss at the next workshop, you follow with Ms. Yackley and Mr. Mann. Anybody have any questions right now? Well, okay. Thank you so much, sir, for your time and work on this. Next, we have city council reports. I will start all the way to my left with my fellow council member, Ms. Weil. Our city council reports.
I attended the Parks meeting on May 15th. It was an excellent meeting. We focused on capital improvement plan. So they will be coming forth to the council soon with some input for the future capital improvements to be put in, to be dealt with. We spent the May meeting really doing a deep dive into the neighborhood parks, Irvside, Villa Park, and Indian Meadows. And we narrowed it down to 3 to 4 improvements to be put in into the capital improvement plan, which would be an overview of funding from the some of which would be from ARPA. And well, I guess ARPA is going to be doing the parking lot. And then so the June meeting will focus on Stacy Park and on Wortham Park. So we have that coming up. But that was the main piece of the meeting. And then we also just, I know that everyone likes to hear the Five Oaks excitement. Our membership is up to 765 members, but that was as of the middle of May, so I'm sure it's more by now. 46% are residents. The Arts as Healing art opening already occurred, and if you haven't had a chance to get up there and check it out, it is well worth it. Party in the Park, we had over 250 people, even though the first 15 minutes was a thunderstorm and everyone was going down the blow-ups thing, sopping wet and splashing. It was great. The new trail signs, if you haven't seen them, it's part of the parks crew is making ones to match within the parks, and they're matching our wayfinding, and they're really beautiful. They're for some of the trails to match the signs that name the parks. But it was just a very productive meeting and I don't know, are there any questions? Okay. I also attended an executive session with the mayor for the housing authority, which I guess you'll mention as well.
Yeah, just accept that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Chairman Knox.
I didn't attend any meetings. I did go to the opening of Arts is Healing. And tomorrow I had a Olivet Economic Development meeting that I can't make, but the mayor is going in my place. That's all I have.
Didn't do the prayer breakfast, you already said that, yeah. I thank you very much. I will go to my left, my fellow council member, Mr. Clark.
I have nothing to report at this time.
Okay. Council member Carl.
Nothing to report.
All right, thank you very much. I did, attend, the Executive Housing Authority, board meeting. We have a housing authority board that, is responsible for our housing and our housing needs off Rothwell Heights. I also attended the Municipal League installation dinner with our esteemed city manager, Miss Yackley. At that event, we brought in the new members of the Municipal League, the Executive Board President, Vice President, and Treasurer. And we said goodbye, farewell, great retirement to Mr. Steve Abels, who has been with the Municipal League for over 40 years. He's just a plethora of knowledge. And Ms. Shackley gave a presentation as the president of the ICMA president. I will be attending EDC for you tomorrow night. It has been an exciting time and I got excited when I got my packet and saw all that fun stuff from Five Oaks. So you're right, Councilman Weil. It is really, really wonderful. It really is. And the art show was beautiful and it was just an exciting thing to see. With that, we will move on to hearing from citizens. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to speak before we look online. All right, the gentleman says no. Anybody in attendance, ma'am? Nobody in attendance online? Okay, we will move on to bill item number 8, bill number 3025. An ordinance to approve a final subdivision plot for a boundary adjustment entitled Olivet Terrace Block 2, Lot 2, and Lot 3 Consolidation Plot. First reading, Mr. Trejo, good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Carlos Trejo. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Olivet. And tonight's bill is to authorize the mayor to sign a boundary adjustment plat, which is a legal instrument that gets recorded in St. Louis County to combine two properties in Olivet. Those properties are addressed as, bear with me 1 second here, 1011 and 1013 Dolores Avenue. Those two properties are zoned SR single family residential. They are legal lots of record. However, they meet the bare minimum width to be buildable lots of record in there. The lot to the south, which is 1011 Dolores Avenue, has a creek along its southern boundary, and with the stream buffer ordinance under our code, really minimizes or prevents the buildability of that lot. The owner would like to combine those properties into one formally. They were previously through St. Louis County for the assessor's purposes combined as one lot for taxing. In there, when they sold prior to the current purchaser, they were identified separately. Fortunately, it was the same buyer that bought these in there. They will be here for the second reading. Mayor, I'd be glad to answer any specific questions on that.
Does anybody have any questions? Will we have to have a public hearing on this as
No,
well?
ma'am.
No? Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go to item number 9, bill number 3026, an ordinance amending Title 4 Land Use of the Olivet Municipal Code to update references to the 2024 Olivet Comprehensive Plan update. Mr. Trejo, good evening again.
Good evening, Mayor, And members of the council, again, my name is Carlos Trejo. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Olivet. This bill is to start implementing our comprehensive plan that was recently adopted back in February by the Planning and Community Design Commission. However, the stewards of the plan are the commission. There are several references of the plan within our land use code, which is part of our municipal code. The land use code includes our zoning regulations, subdivision regulations, sign ordinances, floodplain management, community design review along the Olive Corridor, redevelopment, and there's a couple other chapters that are in there. Those per our ordinance and by state statute do require the council or the commission to forward recommendations to the council when amending those, and also require a public hearing as part of the process. So this ordinance, because there are several references to the 2006 strategic plan within our municipal code or in our land use code specifically, this ordinance would first and foremost develop a definition for the, referencing the comprehensive plan. So whoever's here in the future and does this again, we'll only have to make a single amendment. But thanks to Mr. Carswell and Ms. Doty, they went through the land use code, found all references to the strategic plan, and then provided you have copies of it, of the specific references. This ordinance is intended to change those references to the 2024 comprehensive plan update. In there. This also applies to our subdivision regulations under Chapter 405, our Chapter 410 floodplain management, Chapter 428 community design, Olivet Boulevard corridor, and Chapter 430 redevelopment. And then after this, I'll reference one more place within our municipal code, but that is not part of our land use code. We do have a public hearing scheduled at the council's next meeting. I apologize for the incorrect date that's listed on the agenda submission. It's June 11th, not July 11th. And that has been posted in the St. Louis County correctly. So Mayor, I'd be glad to answer any specific questions.
Does anybody have any questions, Mr. Trejo? No, you answered mine. I was gonna say July, but you got it. Okay,
Sorry about that.
thank you, sir.
Mayor.
We're gonna move on to item number 10, bill number 3027, an ordinance amending chapter 125 of the Olivet Municipal Code to update references to the Olivet 2024 Comprehensive Plan update. Mr. Trejo.
Chairman, good evening again, Mayor and Council. My name is Carlos Trejo. I'm the Director of Planning and Community Development for the City of Olivet. This bill is intended to amend the municipal code, specifically Chapter 125, which deals with commissions, committees, and boards of the City of Olivet. This is not part of the land use code. However, the commission did review during this process when we were making updating references to our comprehensive plan in there. When the council adopted the role of the city's Economic Development Commission, which is under Article 3 of Chapter 125, they had specific references to the strategic plan. This ordinance would update those references to the 2024 comprehensive plan update. And that's why, and I'm bringing it to the council. While it was reviewed by the commission, they did not have to forward any recommendation, and this part is not part of the public hearing that we would have in the other component of it.
Anyone have any questions? Mr. Chair, this is because of the review of staff and their recommendations, because it did not come through PCDC? As a
Correct. The
recommendation?
PCDC was involved during
Yeah.
the review, but they're not required to forward a recommendation as they would be in a land use issue.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, thank you so much. We will move on to
Thank you,
item number 11, which is resolution 2024-248, the approval of a collective bargaining agreement. Ms. Yackley.
Thank you. So the existing collective bargaining agreement between the city and the Olivet Fire Department shop is set to expire at the end of June. And so the two sides have been working for the last, 3 months or so to negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement. And so that is the document that is attached. I can certainly answer questions that you have. But I would say that both sides are content with this agreement. The shop voted to approve the agreement 2 weeks ago. So they are on board with it. And so it is up to the council to make a decision about approving the agreement.
Does anybody have any questions with regard to this MOU to the city manager? And you're satisfied with this MOU language?
Yes.
Okay. I will entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 2024-248, a resolution executing a collective bargaining agreement between the city of Olivette, Missouri and the Olivette Fire Department, Shop Local 2665, International Association of Firefighters.
Moved and seconded. Any questions last time? All right, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman.
Yes,
The motion is approved.
and this will be for 3 years.
That's correct.
Okay.
Beginning July 1.
Okay. All right, item number 12 is the decommissioning of fire gear. Chief.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, Ms. Shackley. Steve Carmen, Fire Chief, City of Olivet Fire Department. The fire department has 6 sets of coats and 6 sets of bunker pants and 5 pairs of boots that we would like to decommission. This gear has reached the end of its life. We can turn it into the state of Missouri for a donation that they'll donate to a volunteer fire department that can't afford new gear. So we were looking at doing that with the fire gear. If I can have a motion to decommission the fire gear.
I'd like to make a motion to decommission the fire gear.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Anybody have any questions? I do.
Yes, ma'am.
Service has met its end of life. If the equipment has met its end of life for us, how does it not meet its end of life for the next guy down the road that is with a volunteer fire department?
Because the volunteer fire departments don't have the funds or resources to spend for new fire gear. And so they take our gear, they look it over, and they commission it and send it off to the new department. So I know that's a difficult question to answer, but we try to do what we can to help out other departments that can't afford it.
Yeah, I have family that are volunteer firefighters down in southeast Missouri, and
Sure.
it is true, they do depend upon these things. Every once in a while, they may be able to get a grant. I call them up and say, hey, but that hasn't been around for a while.
Yes.
All right, so thank you very much for that. Do we need to poll the council after we poll the council?
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman.
Yes,
Motion was approved.
thank you. Item 13 is the decommissioning of SCBA equipment. Chief.
Yes. Good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council, Ms. Yackley. My name is Steve Carmen, Fire Chief, City of Olivet Fire Department. And we have, I believe it is 14 sets of SCBAs that we need to decommission. We recently received in our new MSA SCBAs that we got. And so we've trained with them for a couple months, and now we can decommission our Scott self-contained breathing apparatus. And we can do the same thing with this equipment. We can donate it to the state, excuse me, so they can find a department that can use this equipment. So I'd like to make them or see a motion to authorize the fire department to decommission and donate the Scott SCBAs that are identified in attachment 1 for you.
If anyone has any questions, if there are no questions, I will entertain that motion.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the fire department to decommission and donate the SCBAs as identified on the attached document. Number 1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. What does Scott mean on that? Is that just?
Scott is the vendor's name.
It's the name. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. If there's no other questions, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman.
Yes,
Motion is approved.
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Item number 14 is a declaration of equipment as surplus and authorized trade-in and purchase. Good evening, Ms. Knight.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Beverly Tucker Knight, Parks and Recreation Director. So this evening, we are requesting to surplus our 2004 Tool Cat, which is manufactured by Bobcat, and then use that as a trade-in to purchase a new Tool Cat. Due to the government pricing and the value placed on our trade-in, it also allows us to come in within the budget outlined in the capital plan and allows us to then purchase a flail cutter with it. So a tool cat is what I like to call our Swiss Army knife. So it's a vehicle. It has tires. It does not have tracks, but it does have tires, but it has multiple attachments that we put on it. So we have things that we have a brush hog that goes on it. We have a large drill so that we're able to make big holes for planting trees. It has a forklift. We use it as a forklift in the warehouse. We also use it to transport really big pieces of equipment out in the parks. So it serves a lot of purposes for us, but it is over 20 years old. We were very surprised that it has a trade-in value. I believe it'll be used for parts. So the new government contract price for it is $68,000. And they're giving us 14,500 as a trade-in. So my request this evening is a recommendation to declare the equipment as surplus, authorize trade-in, and purchase the new tool cat and flail cutter not to exceed $68,712. Our funding for this item, as I said, was $73,200. So it does still keep us below our budget.
Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions of Ms. Tucker Knight? All right, I have one question. 20 years old, numerous attachments. These numerous attachments are older than what we're going to be purchasing, but all these attachments will fit and work with this new vehicle.
Yes, and that is why we are tied to using Bobcat.
Okay,
Yeah, because
Okay.
we want to be able to continue to use all of those attachments.
Okay.
Excellent question.
all right, thank you very much. I'll entertain a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to declare equipment as surplus and authorize trade-in and purchase of a toolkit and flail cutter not to exceed $68,712.68.
Second.
Moved and seconded by everybody. Please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman,
Yes,
motion is approved.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Right, next item is hearing from citizens. We have a lovely gentleman and he still shakes his head no, and nobody is online. Then we will move on to review and acceptance of the minutes. Anybody see anything difficult with the meeting minutes of May 15, 2024? I saw none either. Then I will entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the council minutes from May 14th, 2024 as written.
Moved and seconded, please poll the council.
Councilmember Clark,
Yes.
Councilmember Carl,
Yes.
Councilmember Weil,
Yes.
Chairman Pro Tem Knox,
Yes.
Mayor Waldman,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thank you very much. Item number 17, I get to look to my right and see Mr. Martin and ask. Mr.
Mayor, I have
Martin.
no report, but I would like to say thank you to Carlos for his usual excellent work. I enjoyed very much. So that's all I got.
All right, thank you very much. And with that, item number 18 is an adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded,
Third.
third, meeting adjourned.